Hey guys, so I decided I wanted to give you guys an update about my harassment story. Because I do have news. Let me put my glasses on, actually, so I could read this stuff too. Um, so my last job, I worked there for 10 months. I was being harassed because I have disabilities. I have an auditory process disorder, meaning sometimes I misunderstand people when they talk, but I know when it messes up because it's like how to explain it. It like there's a name for it. I can't think of the name. Um, but you know what I mean. It doesn't. There's a name for it. Crap. I'm trying to remember. That's just gonna bother me now. Because I talk about all the time about it. It scrambles. Sorry, is what I was gonna say. It scrambles. So people's words scramble in my mind. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Um, Sometimes I'll hear a different word than what they're saying. Uh, so there's that, and I have visual snow syndrome, meaning I have static in my vision. It flickers. I usually tell people it's like an old TV. You know how they had static? That's basically how I see, but a lot worse, and it flickers. And then also I am also dealing with post concussion syndrome. So I had a concussion, so I had little issues with that too. Um, but I'm still working, and I was a good worker. They made me an operator. My last job. Um, when I first was there, I was it was okay. Everybody seemed nice. So let me talk to you about. I'm not going to say the company's name. So there's two buildings. Now, when I first came, they never told me about the second building, and on the um, application, it only said one building. And there's two buildings. So, and also I did read the reviews on Indeed, and they were all bad reviews, but I was so desperate for a job because I had just got laid off my other job because they were closing, and I worked there for 6 years. Absolutely loved that job. So I'm just click that off. It will pop up. So I saw these reviews, and I remember reading a review saying I wouldn't recommend this to my worst enemy, because I was just reading through all that, and it was just bad. I had a couple of friends of mine who used to work there, and they said, "Don't go there. They're so toxic." And I'm like, it didn't seem that bad at first. Now, there are nice people there. There are, like, some nice people. I'm trying to remember. I remember being in the other building. So you start on the first building. This is where all the bosses' offices are, and I'll get that too. About that's important info. Um, so I was up there. Everything's fine. I remember getting there, and it was the other building, and I'm like, "What other building?" And they're like, "They never told you about it." I'm like, "No." So they had to tell me it was literally down the road. Make a left. I'll make a right. It's right there. It's like basically down the road. It wasn't really a far drive, but it's annoying because you get there, you don't know what the day before they don't post the schedule, so you don't know what building you're in. So you have to go to one of the buildings, look at the schedule, and it will tell you where to go. Sometimes halfway through the job or a couple hours in, you have to go to the other building and you come back and forth. It's the schedule, like it's like, what is this? But that's that job. So when I got to the other building, it seemed fine. They're nice. And I remember one that the trainer said something to me, and it scrambled in my mind. And I had to turn around and I said, "Can you repeat that again?" And I explained to her about my auditory process disorder, and and I think people feed off that, like, "Ooh, she has a disability. Let's make fun of her." I'm trying to remember, like, oh, I remember how it kind of started. They made me an operator, and with her mouth, she's like, "It wasn't your turn yet," and it was one of her friends' turn or something. And that's how it happened. So she got really jealous that I was on a machine. But I told her I've been an operator before from other previous jobs. I've been an operator before, And she started with that, it was her friend, and then she started making fun of my disability. Um I so when I was doing something, like first time doing something, it wasn't on a machine, it was just other stuff. I wasn't as fast. I mean, it was my first time doing it. And she goes, "Oh, it must be because your disability. That's why you're slow." And I ignored that. So I could only take so much. And like I think it was like 3 months in. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I went to the boss and I said so and so, saying this, and I went to HR, talked to him. They brought her in. She did eventually, like, it took her a while, but it took her a while, but she finally came up and did apologize to me. It wasn't that day, it wasn't that week. I think it was like a month after. And she did apologize, and she apologized to in front of people. And she said, "Sam, I am sorry, I'm sorry I did this to you. Can we start over?" And I accepted it, and I, you know, didn't have a grudge when I moved forward. And then I don't know like what triggered her. Like everything was going great, and then it started happening again. And I'm just I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, I could do like she was nice some days, and then there was days that she was just mean. And like I don't know, like did I like I know I didn't do anything wrong, and she was just constantly saying, "Oh, my disability, da 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 da," and yeah, I don't know, I don't understand why. I don't understand. So I had witnesses this time around, because she was doing it again, and I got the bosses involved again, and they told me basically to drop it, that I'm making the situation worse by reporting them. And they were like, "Oh, this person," I'm trying not to say names, "this person wouldn't do that," type thing. We talked to her and she says she didn't do it. I'm like, like I said, and I would say, this person heard her say it to me, and here this person's her best friend, so her best friend didn't turn her in. It was the other people home. But yeah. So after that, I turned her in for that. So the bosses went back to the other building. Again, like, so when they're in the other building, the bosses, that's where they are. They have cameras, so they watch the other building with the cameras. The building that I'm in, where my harasser is, how to explain it? There are no supervisors, managers. It's just the employees and 2 trainers. That's it. All the bosses are in the other building, and they're just watching cameras. So that time I was alone with my harasser and her best friends, and like a few of my friends. And before so let me talk about it. I was working, I had to work right next to my harasser. And this time she told me to jump over a bridge and drown, that I should go kill myself. And I'm here just like, are you serious? Now, like, this was going on, and then before I leave, I always go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and her best friend traps me in the bathroom, puts her hands out, wouldn't let me leave. I had to push my way through. I asked her multiple times to move. I said, please move. And she wouldn't move. I had to push my way through, and I felt threatened. I thought something was going to bad happen. I thought, the girl who tracked me, she's in her 40s. She's admitted being arrested for doing fights, basically. The one who harassed me constantly, she is in her 60s, and she's like 6 foot. She's a big girl. So, I'm also quiet, shy, so I got made fun of that. But there's that. Oh, the next day, I was in the other building, so I was able to talk to the bosses about it. That, when they left, that that this is what so-and-so said, how I was blocked in the bathroom. I said, it's on camera. You could see it on camera where she blocks me. I said, go to this time. I had, times written down, The next day, I was in the other building. The end of the day, the boss pulled me aside, and she laid me off. And I said, why am I being laid off? It's just not working out. And I'm like, why are you laying me off? It's just not working out. And I'm like, so I'm able to collect unemployment. She said, oh yeah, you're laid off. You're allowed to collect. And I was like, like, keep my cool, and everything like that. Everybody's like, why didn't you sue or anything? I'm like, honestly, I didn't like that job. But I've gotten text messages from the one who blocked me in the bathroom. I don't know how she got my number. I'm guessing one of the bosses gave it to her. I don't know. Maybe she looked me up. I don't know. I went to the police, and they said it wasn't that threatening. It wasn't that threatening. We can't do anything, I thought it was threatening. But I have everything I have everything screenshotted. I actually just sent it to my email, because I'm like, I should probably keep it on file, my email, me too. But I had two old coworkers who reached out to me. One by Messenger, and the other one was from phone call. Like, we talked to each other. And all right, so this is on September 3rd, 2025, 1:20 p.m. And this is a coworker of mine. She said, I thought you might like to know they fired so name yesterday. And I said, did she harass someone else? And I said, thanks. And then she replied, yes, she was making other people mad, and they were going to the boss about it. Then the boss's boss talked to her, the boss about it, and he said he had enough and to get rid of her. And that boss agreed. And then she said, you're welcome. And then I rate, I never get it. I report and they get rid of me. Honestly, I'm happier here. I have a new job and I absolutely love it. And then she said, I'm glad you are happier. That place needs some major changes. And I wrote, I agree. And then let me go to my email. So the recently text message I got, I wrote it down when it was sent. I know it was last month. Got my calendar. So this was. So she sent the other text message to me on May 12th, and then this one I'm gonna read about was August 15th. So, that was sent to me. Grab this for a second. Dropping things. Okay. So the time was sent at 1:21 a.m. It says, "Hey Sam, saw you working at," I'm not going to talk about where I'm working now, but I told you that you would become nothing in life. You are dumb and ugly and nobody wants you in life. Go kill yourself. You can't even get a real job because you're dumb. Oh, and you're on TikTok. I videoed your dumb ASS. Just remember, I'm better than you. You will never make it in life. You will never make it in life. You dumb, ugly disability girl. I hope you're crying. Oh, and we talk about at work. There's some grammar issues here. You try to get us in trouble. I'm best friends with the bosses and you're nothing. I should have beat you in the bathroom when I had you trapped. You should have saw it. Your scared face. Bullying you is fun. Yep. Now this was before my co-workers, other cold co-workers, messaged me telling me that, so was fired. So I also was told, like, this one and another one were suspended for 3 days because they were involved harassing whoever they were harassing. I don't know who they harassed. I don't know what was said, to the other people. Oh, I was also told the bosses felt really bad about how they found out that, yeah, she was harassing. And I'm like, oh, I'm sure they felt bad. They never even called me and apologized to me or offered my job back. And I'm like, I wouldn't go back. But yeah, my mother always told me what comes around goes around. But I'm honest, I am happy where I am. It was like the nicest co-workers ever. But oh, she blocked me in the bathroom. I saw another message here, but I was blocked in the bathroom on March 28th. So just an idea of how long ago this was that this incident happened. But yeah. I just don't understand people. Like, first of all, why would you message me this and then have your number? Like, it's her number too. And everybody's like, give me her number. I want to call her. I'm like, no. Like, oh, there's times I'm like, here, take the number. Just take it. But then I'm like, no, don't do it. You're going to make everything worse. Don't do it. So. Oh, people are calling. I might have to get that phone. All right, I'll see you guys. Bye.